Got a 2019 Vauxhall Vivaro, got the 1.6 engine in it. Got an intermittent non-start. So if we turn the key, there's like a delay with the dash lights coming on. And if we crank it, nothing at all. So you can see the ignition on, delay with the ignition lights coming on. And then I crank, we've got absolutely nothing. With the ignition on, there's a couple of pumps and some stuff running there, but there's not really any response from the engine. You would normally hear the throttle valve actuator, the injectors ticking, you know, some activity for the engine with the ignition on the on position. What I noticed, if we hook the diagnostic tool up, there's no communication with the engine management system. So with the diagnostic tool hooked up, just going to do global code scan and scan all of the ECUs, so anything that's got a response here should show. So global scan's complete. As you can see here, anti-lock brake system has got fault codes there for invalid injection multiplex signal, multiple there for missing information from the engine ECU. Same with the body control module. Instrument panel, again all faults to do with missing messages. And if you look there, there is no response from the engine ECU whatsoever. It's not even listed here. So just to prove that, I'm going to go back. Engine ECU, scan. No communication. So generally with these no communication faults at the engine ECU or at the ECU in question, you'll be checking your power, your ground and any data cables there, and technically if all them are working, it should have some response to the diagnostic tool. So I've got the engine ECU removed from its cradle here, and I've got all the positives back probed. So I'm just going to do a quick check on these here. There should be 4 in total ignition feeds going down. Could you switch your key on please? So test light connected to battery negative. I've got 1 positive here. I have nothing here, and nothing here, which all should be positives with the key on. So I'm not even going to bother going to scope my CAN lines at the minute, because if there's no ignition feeds going down to here, this ECU is asleep. So as you can see, I've got 1 feed here, so I'll just need to find out what's going on with these other 3 pins. We'll try and trace them back. So into the main fuse box here, I have traced the ignition feed back to this relay, which would be in position 4. I'm just going to check there. I should have a constant power supply on one side and then an ignition on the other. So there's my constant supply. Oh, so it's two constant supplies, sorry, which means it must be earth side switched. So they're all okay. If I then transfer my test light to battery positive, this will be testing the earth switch. Okay, key on. So as you can see, test light's lighting up, key off. So the control to that relay is working absolutely fine. This is going to be the output from the relay in this pin here. And if you can see that through my battery positive there, that is grounded as well, which tells me that that circuit is most likely complete all the way down to the engine ECU. What I could do is continuity test from here to the ignition lives on the engine ECU. I'm not going to do that because I've already found the issue. I'll just show you that in a wee second. So confirmed everything up to the relay holder is working as it should. So it's an earth side controlled relay. That is happening. I've got the power supply there. So if the relay is switching, the output should be going from there through to all the ignition feeds, which includes the engine ECU there. So got relay removed, got it hooked up my power probe here, and as you can hear, the relay is clicking, but whereas no continuity, which means that the contacts aren't actually making any electrical connection inside. So I'll just do the same test here with a known good relay and just prove the point, and then we'll fit it and we'll test it. Got a known good relay here. This is actually a 5-pin relay, the only difference being that instead of the circuit being completely open, it would transfer from 87A to 87. So yep, if we power up this relay here, you can now see that you're getting continuity through it each time the coil's energised. So this right here is almost definitely a problem. It is a 5-pin, but for the purposes of testing it will do the job. There's nothing connected to the 5th pin in there. Or there's no terminal in the relay holder, so I'm not concerned about any issues there. So if you can switch key on please. You can now hear the actuators run, the throttle body motor and various other bits and pieces. So that tells me that everything is active down here, and if I check these ignition supplies, there's ignition feed, an ignition feed, an ignition feed and an ignition feed as I would expected. Okay, key off. Okay, key on. And again, ignition feeds as expected. And if you try and start it, a bit sluggish, but there we go. And as you can see now, if we put the ignition on, the dash lights are responding pretty much immediately with the key. Switch off and on again. So that's as I would expect, and as you can see there, the miles per hour is set to 0. So I think that information was missing. The instrument cluster isn't able to get that from the ECU if it's asleep. So there will be indications of the... So all of these problems caused by this relay. Another one done. Right, so a wee bit of additional footage on this. It's also got a glow plug fault, which is causing the DPF to block up. So just going to have a wee quick look through that and find out what exactly is going on. Got this madman in with me today. So just connected this up after doing the ECU repair. Again, I'm expecting loads of faults here because I've had the ECU down while I've been doing the diagnosis on the last bit. So I'm going to clear all these faults. I've got my test lamp connected up to battery negative, going into glow plug number 2 connector, and I'm just going to activate this using the diagnostic tool. And as you can see, we have power going down. So I think I can safely assume if I've got power going to 1, I've got power going to 4. It's not always the case, but I think the chances of having a broken wire being the cause of this is pretty slim. I think it's more likely going to be a glow plug that's faulty. What I'm going to do now is disconnect this connector here for the glow plug relay, and I'm going to check the resistance of each of the outputs. So we'll check the wiring from here all the way down to the glow plugs and the glow plugs themselves all in one go. Right, so got my meter here. I'm going to connect to an on good ground, and at this glow plug relay connector down here, you can see that there's in place. You can see that there's the thick red wire on the bottom, which will be the power supply going to the relay and the outputs. There's 2 thinner wires at the back there as well. One of those will be a ground, one of them will be a comms cable. And then on the back there we've got the white, blue, brown and green, which are the outputs from the relay to the glow plugs. So if I can measure the resistance from the inside of this connector here, the 4 pins closest to me, That will give me the overall resistance of the wiring and the glow plug through to earth. And if any of these are basically the odd one out, I'll check all 4 of them, and if one of them's standing out to be obviously different from the rest, then I've obviously got a faulty glow plug or an issue with the wiring going to it. First pin, it's about half an ohm. Second pin, about 0.8 ohms. Third pin, 150 ohms. First pin, or fourth pin, whatever, 0.6. So we'll just go again, roughly about 0.6, 0.6, 153, and 0.6. So I think I might see the issue. So what I'm going to do to confirm this is I'm going to just check which wire colour that is. It was the blue. And if I come down to the glow plug connectors here, see glow plug number 2, just by chance, which I've already had off. There's the blue wire there. So I'm going to actually extract that glow plug and just check it off the vehicle, but I'm confident that the glow plug is the issue and not the wiring. Oh, please, please, please. Oh, that's tighter than I would like. Oh, that's much tighter than I would like it to be. I'll try and keep this straight. Oh, fuck. Oh, I don't like that. So I've left this soaking for a little while. I've got a cheap step up on this ratchet. I'm hoping that it'll break this before it breaks the glow plug. If that's going to be the case, that something's going to give. So I'll try and keep this as straight as possible. Please. Oh yes, there's going to be a phone call to the customer first before I do any further with this. Okay, so I've spoken to him and he's accepted the responsibilities if this breaks. So here we go. Oh, it's away, it's away. I did not want to take the chance with that. Get my fingers in there, we'll just lift it out. There we go. So we'll just do another quick check just to confirm that is definitely the problem. Ground is through the body. Check the element from the top. 155 ohms. I think I've actually got a spare one of these here, hopefully. We'll get that stuck in and we'll then get the DPF regenerated. Pop this connector back on as well. Just going to hook up this glow plug relay again. That was harder than it had to be. So just so let's get all my fault codes cleared. Clear codes. No codes present. We'll just wait on the power latch again. I'll apologise if there's some cables end up in your way. I'm hooked up to life support because my GoPro's got even less of a will to live than me today. So ignition's been cycled. No fault codes. Just to prove that again, I'm going to run the actuator test. Force the glow plugs to run. And if there's been any issues, this should have flagged a fault code up. Engine starts. No warning lights on. No fault codes present. If I cycle through a couple of the receipts, well, I'll just do a full code scan again here. Right, so I'm happy with that. Well, I'm going to have to finish filming this on my phone because my GoPro's just not playing ball at all. I don't know why, but it's not charging. So I've got this doing its regeneration just now. As you can see, there's 62.5 grams of soot, which is quite a lot. I think normally they would get up to around like 12 or 14 grams and then they would start regenerating. I'm just waiting on the temperatures here. Just waiting on them rising. They should go up to around about the 400 degree mark, 450 degrees. But normally you'll get, say, 5 minutes where it'll preheat the exhaust, and then it'll start to inject extra fuel and it'll skyrocket the temperatures. So I'm on a piece of private road just now while I'm filming this. As you can see, anytime I'm cruising, my temperatures are starting to climb. So I'm just going to maintain it at this temperature, basically until it drops itself. So once the exhaust has cleaned itself, that temperature should restore itself back to our normal temperature, say 300 degrees. Between like 180 and 300 degrees, I think, just a ballpark figure. You can see the temperature dropping quite rapidly now. So I will need to stop and check, but I'm pretty sure that that's the DPF clear now.